As tough as it is here, America's food problems pale in comparison to other parts of the world. While U.S. prices are rising, we still have plenty of food, but that is not the case overseas. The UN estimates 37 countries face a food crisis and the possibility of serious social unrest because of food shortages. Mark Phillips now with this report from Cairo, Egypt.
If there's an early warning alarm for the consequences of the great food crisis of 2008, the desperate breadlines of Cairo may be it. Here, every day is a scramble for the cheap government-subsidized loaves that can be the difference between eating or starving for the country's poor, which in Egypt is roughly half the country.
How much? How many piastres?
5 Egyptian piastres, about 1 cent a loaf. For the 40 million people who live on around $2 a day here, this cheap bread has become even more crucial as other foodstuffs have become more expensive.
There is very special relationship between the Egyptian and the bread. Even we call it aish. Aish is life.
And life has become a lot more difficult as the world price of flour has almost doubled. In a country that has to import more than half the wheat it needs, flour has started to look like gold dust. The subsidized loaves have become scarcer, the lines have become longer.
A big problem is that flour has become so expensive it's more valuable as a commodity than it is as a food source. It's a lot more profitable to sell the flour out the back door of this bakery onto the black market than it is to bake it into bread and sell it out the front door to these people.
There have been strikes, riots, and several deaths. The threat of civil unrest has become real. The government has had to bring in the army to bake and distribute more bread, and now it's had to raise wages.
It's very good.
There's always been an unwritten deal in Egypt that the poor, while they may stay poor, will always be fed. If that deal breaks down, one of the pillars of stability in the Middle East, one of the bulwarks against extremism, starts to look a lot less stable.
It is like the match beside a barrel of oil.
And as this food crisis deepens, that match is being lit and moving ever closer to that oil. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Cairo.